Good evening, friends, and welcome to Sahlen Field. It's your friend Russell K coming to you live from Sahlen Field. And tonight we got the Storm Chasers taking on the Bisons, and we got ourselves a special guest. He is from the radio station up in Brockport, and he'll be joining us here live on the post game show. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good about you today, Russell.
I'm doing well.
Good to hear.
So, what'd you think about yesterday's game? Yesterday's game, Buffalo wins this game 7-0. The pitcher was going good. They got some great hits, and it just seemed like everything was going Buffalo's way last night. Would you agree on that?
Absolutely. I think you just start with that fast start on offense, just thanks to Riley Torada getting the grand slam to kickstart things. That really helped extend their lead up to 5 runs, which was essential. And a big part of the reason why they were able to hold on to the lead and get the shutout was the pitching unit. Overall, the bullpen was already able to hold their own thanks to Brandon Eisert and company. And even though it was kind of an on and off day for Bloss for the Bisons as starting pitcher, still able to get 3 strikeouts. He really held his own against a very talented group for Omaha when it comes to the offense.
Yeah, especially with Omaha's pitching, they got some of the top pitchers in the big leagues. And actually when we did our interviews yesterday, the players that we were interviewing, they talked about that where, these are some of the top pitchers in the league. And it was a great test for them to see how they can stand up to them. So one of the things with Buffalo is consistency, right? So hopefully we're going to find out a little bit tonight about that consistency. Can they be consistent and win back-to-back games? That's been our Achilles in, something for them all season long where, they come off like last night, they come off a great win. And all of a sudden next night, what happened in that performance yesterday. So we're going to find a lot about Buffalo tonight, huh?
I definitely agree. This is definitely going to be a test, even though it was just one game. Baseball's a game of runs. If they're able to really kind of just keep up and make sure at least they get off to a strong start, because I saw that from Omaha. They take advantage of very fast starts, and they make it very difficult for any team to keep up with them. So Buffalo, if they want to be able to get this win here and be able to tie the series up, they got to start off quick. And I think as long as the bullpen is able to hold their own the rest of the way and kind of make sure Omaha just cools off offensively, they'll be fine for today, but it's not going to be easy. Again, they're facing the team that won the first half of the International League.
Yeah, exactly. And, and one of the comments we made yesterday during those interviews was, it just seems when the top teams come to Sahlen Field, Buffalo plays really, really well against these teams. And last night was was a great example. They won that game 7-0 and, great pitching, great hitting. And, the defense didn't really have to do much. The pitcher was so good. When Omaha got some hits yesterday, the defense was right there to make those plays.
Yeah, absolutely. The defense really held backed up the pitching unit as well. There really wasn't errors at all compared to some other games, and they just really kind of didn't let many balls get up in the air. A lot of ground outs from the Bisons defensively overall. So, I think that's the key thing, because we know the power that these batters have for Omaha. As long as they're able to keep them on the ground, force the ground outs, they'll be perfectly fine. Again, it's not going to be easy, man. I was looking through the lineup for the Storm Chasers. Pretty much but only except for 2 players on the entire lineup have a batting average under 250, which is pretty solid for any team. So, they have the work cut out for them for today, but it'll be interesting to see how things go. Paulo Espino will get the start for Buffalo, and although his record in ERA definitely a little bit left to be desired, it'll be interesting to see how he does. His last outing that he was able to pretty much hold his own. He struck out 4 batters against Scranton Wilkes-Barre in his last start, and he'll be looking to secure his first win since May 12th, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
So I'm sure you had an opportunity to look at Buffalo's starting lineup. There's a few changes they made from last night's lineup. What do you think about those changes?
Not having Class A definitely does hurt a little bit. You're losing a guy who's a great base runner with speed. Definitely a little overzealous as well, but he has the athleticism, and especially a guy who can get out there, at least out on the field. I think is a perfect replacement for losing Cam Eden. So not having him there definitely kind of hurts a little bit. Overall, I kind of definitely like the lineup they have. Raposo is starting to kind of get into his own at catcher a little bit. Obviously, having De Los Santos is really huge, already on 11-game hitting streak, looking to increase that to 12. Alan Roden has been on a hot streak as of recent. Getting Nathan Lucas back is huge. His stats are been great with 330 batting average, 29 RBIs, 7 home runs. I know he's been out with the year with injury, but having him in that lineup is definitely very huge.
Speaking about De Los Santos, I mean, this guy is on a terror. 11 game hitting streak right now, and he continued that last night. The last night's game, he had a pretty good game. I went back, I looked at his stats. He had an RBI, which was the 16th of the year, which gave Buffalo a 6-0 lead. And I mean, but again, he had a walk, he had a hit, and then when he got the ground out, I mean, he was actually robbed. He should really had 2 hits in that game, but Omaha's started. The outfield just made an amazing play and actually stole a hit from him.
Yeah, I mean, he is really just improved overall as a player. I mean, I know he's been in the system for a very long time. It's really kind of gone up and down between AAA and AA. I know he got an appearance in with the Blue Jays as a recent, but he is definitely starting to find his groove. And I know talking with Casey Kendall, as long as he doesn't really chase pitches or whatever that are out of the zone, or I mean, at least as good as bats, he'll be fine. And he's starting to really, I think, find his groove and settle in offensively, and that is really huge for him. As he's trying to fight for a shot on the Bisons, at the Blue Jays roster when it comes to the later on the season.
So as the season winds down here in the league here, I mean, what are you looking at for Buffalo? I mean, obviously, they're not going to make the playoffs this year, but they got some great talent on the AA and AAA team, and what's happened, thus far as they've taken players from AAA, and brought them up to from AA, and then a lot of calls have been taking place from the Blue Jays. Your take on that?
I think honestly, the best thing for them right now is just try and end things off on a high note. Playoffs, I mean, is not something I think this team really should mostly expect, but they should be able to really just grind out these next few series and kind of see what a lot of these guys they call up from AA and see how they kind of do the rest of the way. I definitely have high hopes about guys like Josh Kasovich on the team. I mean, he's been doing absolutely amazing right now for the Bisons, so I think it's definitely be interesting to see how it goes the rest of the way, but they want to see consistency in this team. I think that's the best thing that you have to look for the Bisons is if they're able to kind of remain consistent down the rest of the way and see and give some of these guys that are coming up from AA New Hampshire like a good opportunity and see what they could bring to this squad, whether it's either going to be this upcoming year or they still have more time to kind of work on and stuff and develop.
Are there any players that are standing out to you right now, whether it be in AA or AAA right now? Who are they?
I mean, mostly, like I said, De Los Santos, obviously, and Kasovich has been probably the big one. Rodin, and from just watching him from early on this year, Rodin has definitely really stood out to me a whole lot of how he's improved his mechanics with batting, and has just been more consistent at the plate overall. I mean, I know there was the one game against Omaha that he struggled a little bit on the outfield, but he's definitely improved overall as defensively on the outfield, so he's definitely really stood out to me. And Raposo's really been able to hold his ground as catcher. I mean, for the batting stats, nothing. I mean, is something that many people would be like amazed by, but I mean, I think he's definitely finding his rhythm. And also, I can't wait to see more of Jake Bloss. I mean, hasn't given up a single run in any of his outings as a Bison right now. And he's been, I think, he already has 3 starts so far as a Buffalo Bison. So I'm really excited to see what he's doing the rest of the way. I mean, he's the number 3 ranked prospect for the Blue Jays. So I'm really excited to see how he does the rest of the way.
One thing I like about the Blue Jays organization, they've definitely got some talent in AA and AAA. No question about it. Especially this year, we just spoke about where they've taken a lot of players from AAA and they've been promoted. Give those guys a taste of what the big leagues is all about. So no matter how the Blue Jays season plays out, one thing I do know for certain, they have a lot of talent. And they definitely got something to build on in the future. Would you agree with that?
I agree. I mean, they definitely have tried to get a lot of those younger guys of experience. I mean, we already saw Will Wagner got called up. I mean, I think about a couple weeks ago, and he didn't really last a lot of time here at Buffalo. And I think he's definitely got a lot of potential to be something special for the Blue Jays organization. And even if it comes down back to Buffalo, I mean, I think he'll still cause some problems for opposing teams overall. And I'm definitely hopeful for this pitching unit as well, obviously with Bloss and a couple of other guys as well. I mean, I know one guy for the Bisons, I've been really impressed with this Paxton Schultz. I feel like he definitely deserves a shot at the next level. He leads the team in the most strikeouts with 93. He is also got the most innings pitched with around like 73.4. So, I mean, he is heavily relied on for a good reason. He is a very solid player overall. I think he definitely deserves a shot with the Blue Jays at some point, hopefully either at the end of this season or hopefully next year. But I mean, there is a lot of young talent this team has, and hopefully for the Blue Jays organization, that can really step up, especially when it comes to the hitting department and really hold things down, especially even pitchers, as you have a very old pitching unit.
Yeah. I want to talk about Joey V. He came on, he came to Buffalo, and I mean, he just totally just put his team on his back, and the team responded to him. I mean, when he came on the scene, it just seemed like this whole team just really, was on his back, and he was working with the younger players, and they were playing really good. They were on that very long winning streak. And now they're just no longer with the Bisons. So is that going to hurt them?
I mean, I think it does in a certain way. I think just the leadership he brings and the experience. I know talking with Casey, I mean, he always encouraged a lot of his players just go up and talk with him because of all the experiences he's had. He's been in this league for so long already. I mean, has won an MVP for the National League in 2010. He was a Golden Glove winner in 2011. I mean, this man has accomplished a lot in so long, and he's considered to be one of the great legends of the game right now and a potential Hall of Famer in the future. So it was definitely important for, I think, players to kind of just learn that wisdom from him, which I'm sure they got, but it'd been nice to definitely have him stay a little bit longer to be able to really, for some of these players that just came up to Buffalo, to kind of really learn stuff from him, get advice and his wisdom that could really help improve their game overall, or maybe change something for them mentally that can allow them to become better out on the field.
It was kind of surprising when he did retire, but I think I kind of agree with you where saying that a lot of the players now, the time that they spent with him, they can take something away from the time they were with him, and they can incorporate it into their game, and hopefully that's going to help them and help this team overall. I want to talk about Casey Candell, the amazing job that he's doing as the Bison's coach. I mean, this guy is the former major leaguer himself. And it just seems like he's always doing a great job for Buffalo. And no matter what the roster is, Casey Candell could coach anyone. I mean, your take on that.
I mean, yeah, he's done a great job for his organization. I mean, even he's got MLB experience with coaching, so definitely bringing that down here definitely helps. And he got to work with so many great players overall, and just kind of from his playing experience was able to really kind of give them advice on just what he has seen and what he's learned. And kind of just lets these players go out and really do their thing. They really focuses on making sure they put in effort and they work hard, and that's the key to success with anything. So and I definitely see these guys definitely are gritty. I think that's one of the best things to describe the Bisons, that they're gritty. They will put up a fight no matter how bad things are going in the game. How good things are going, they'll always put up a fight. So I think that's the thing that he's really instilled in a lot of these guys, and it's a good thing for a lot of the younger guys that are trying to make a name for themselves here, and then probably catch the attention of the Blue Jays in the future. So I think it's definitely much needed.
Let me ask you this, since we're talking about the Bisons and the Rocks now, as the season's winding down here, what are some of the areas do you think that Buffalo has to focus on? So next year they can compete with the big boys like the Storm Chasers and all the other top teams in the league. What are some of the areas that they need to focus on to get to that next step?
I think getting some older guys, maybe at least in the bullpen, to kind of just really support. I mean, I know they had some guys that came out there and struggled a little bit, like Adrian Hernandez, but I think as maybe some of those guys definitely focus on just being more consistent, really be able to find the strike zone. But overall, I think the team needs to worry about is consistency, because there are times they look like very solid, can go toe-to-toe with anybody in their games where it's kind of a rough patch for them. So I think consistency is the best thing for this team, especially. And I know they're not an easy division. You got to worry about teams like Syracuse. You have also Scramble experience. You also have the Red Wings as well to worry about. Their rivals right down an hour away from here. So I think consistency is just the big thing these guys need to work on. And I think offensively they need to just work on that too, because there are days they look solid, days they're not. So I think making sure at least they have good discipline, which I know these guys do, but making sure they're able to at least have good at-bats, good contact, I think it's what's really going to help propel this team into being at least one of the more dangerous teams in the IL East.
Next, let's talk about Brockport Radio. Like, can you kind of show our listeners kind of like what you do and tell us a little bit more about Brockport Radio? I mean, actually, I can tell you a funny story though before you tell us, right? My brother went to Brockport University. So when I get there, I'm going to get him on the phone and say, hey, I interviewed a really cool guy in the radio station from Brockport.
I mean, it's great. 89.1.
Tell us more.
Yeah, 89.1 The Point is what it's called. You can find our website online. Just search it up. We are also on Spotify as well. It was great working there. I mean, I'm going to my sophomore year there, and I've learned so much. We get to do so many experiences, not only just cover the Bisons. We got people covering the Red Wings as well, and also cover stuff for hockey as well with the Rochester Americans, the AHL affiliate for the Sabres. And we do so much stuff, all their like high school and college sports as well, and we're just really involved and get out there. It's like the perfect experience for us for like on the job experience, and it's something I really enjoy. And we have a lot of guys that are hardworking out there that are doing everything they can to make sure that this radio station is like something at least you can listen to and you can enjoy. It's not just a club, it's something that we definitely do take seriously, and I'm definitely proud to be a part of it and help it really improve.
Well, again, thank you so much for being on the show. It is our pregame show being brought to you by our Rise Up Family Sports Network. I've been a staple in Buffalo for 32 years with DeAndre the Torch Robinson. It's your friend Russell K. Coming to you live from Sahlen Field. We're getting ready to get it on between the Storm Chasers and the Bisons. So before I let you off the air, one thing when you come to our show, expect the unexpected, right?
Yep.
So give me a score for tonight. Does Buffalo win 2 in a row?
I think I'm going to say, yeah, I definitely feel confident that this team definitely can go 2 in a row after yesterday. I think that definitely gives them some confidence. So,
what's the score going to be?
I'm going to say 6-2.
Okay. I have a little bit closer. I'm on board with that. I think Buffalo, they're still in a high. They win yesterday 7-0. So I'm in the press box with our press box family here. We have Buffalo Bisons all over the place. So I'm going with Buffalo in this game. We're in 2 in a row. It's going to be a close game tonight. Buffalo's going to win this game 3-2.
I agree.
That's my prediction. And if it doesn't work out, we know what, though. We can run downstairs to the locker room and do our interviews. All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much for being on the pregame show, and much success with your radio station as you move on. And it's always a pleasure to work with you here in the press box. And I hope you have a great game.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, take care. All right. And that's going to do it for our pregame show here. And just a little bit, they're doing the national anthem right now.